Cody Decker, I do know your answer. It is my answer. It is the only team that reached such legendary proportions that the iconic Scott Stapp recorded a fight song for them when the lead singer of Creed sings a fight song for the Miami Marlins. You know they're going to the playoffs, baby. You know it.
The Rays honestly can go in the wild card spot and be perfectly fine. Their pitching will sustain them. They'll win that first series, no problem, and they'll move on to the next one. I think this is a team that is just primed and ready to go, and they are built right now for October with that pitching. Their pitching, honest to God, gives me a lot of vibes from 2015 and that Kansas City Royals team. If you remember that Kansas City Royals team that beat the Mets in the World Series, that team was based around one thing and one thing only. It sure as hell wasn't offense because their biggest bats were Lorenzo Cain, solid player, but at no point was Lorenzo Cain really a superstar. It was built around Mike Moustakas, another solid player, especially at the time, and of course, Eric Hosmer, a decent player that was sold to us as if he was a superstar, despite the fact never putting up any semblance of superstar numbers. Why that team was good was because they had the greatest pitching staff in the bullpen we had ever seen at that point. It was insane. If you didn't have the lead against the Kansas City Royals in 2015 going into the sixth inning, you lost the game because they had basically 4 straight closers they would just throw at you every single night, and that's what it was. That's what I feel about this Rays team right now. Mario just put it in the chat, which is pretty interesting. The Orioles are plus 300 to win the AL, and he asked, are those odds way too short? In my opinion, yes. And it's mainly because of what you just said. You're talking about a veteran team that is catching them down. What were we saying about the Orioles during the trade deadline? We weren't all that mad at them. I was just disappointed in one thing. If you had just grabbed some more pitching, I just feel like you needed more pitching. You needed some more veteran pitching that can go deep into the playoffs with you. And I didn't feel like they got that with Jack Flaherty. I would have rather seen them go get somebody like Dylan Cease. Now, Jack Flaherty, no slouch by any stretch of the imagination, but he's also a guy that gets hurt a lot and has a little bit of trouble going deep into seasons. So I didn't love that move for him. I thought they could have gone elsewhere. However, it doesn't mean it's out of the realm of possibility. Again, last season we saw the Philadelphia Phillies, who is a far less good team than they are this year. Last year, they took it to the limit. They came within 2 wins of winning the entire World Series. So trust me, there's nobody that's going to October that doesn't have a shot, Baltimore included. I just don't like their pitching staff going into October, especially if they have to play an extra series for a wild card. Doesn't mean they can't do it. They're very capable. I just think there are other teams that are more primed and ready to win with the way they're constructed, Tampa Bay being one of them. Here's the other thing. You still got the San Francisco Giants 3 games out. Question, do you feel anything about them? Because I think they're toast.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's like the Giants were right there in a spot that they were threatening. Hell, at them for a minute there, it looked like they were going to be able to threaten Arizona even to jump up into that spot ahead of them. And then they just stubbed their toes. I will say this, Deck, and I'm intrigued, and I don't think they can get there.
The answer is no. I know what you're about to say. The answer is no. Stop. Stop. What are you doing?
9-1 in the last 10.
What are you doing?
All right.
What do you think you're doing right now?
They are a game that you just asked me about the Giants, but I can't talk about the Padres, who are one game behind them.
What phrase did I just say about the Giants that you immediately agreed with? I said, and I quote, I think the Giants are toast. Who's behind the Giants?
What you said, Deck, was I think the Giants are toast, but do you have anything for this team? And the answer is no, but I'll tell you who I do have a thing for. A team that, with 10 games left in the season, is 9-1 in their last 10 and has caught a heater at that 2-week mark, that 17-game mark that we've been talking about all year. Listen, I'm not throwing money at the Padres. Hey, Mario, snag me a number on the Padres making a playoff run if you can and don't mind. But they're 9-1 in the last 10. They're a game off the Pirates. They're, 4.5 back of Arizona right now. Listen, it is statistically improbable that the Padres are going to get there. But if I asked you, of all the teams not currently in a position to make the playoffs right now, or excuse me, not currently in a wild card position right now, and I asked you, just by roster strength and momentum, who you're going to throw money on. How's San Diego at 42-1? Not a play for $1, man.
Man, this is tough. I've been the only reason I would say that I have more faith in the Mariners at this point is just doubling down on my preseason pick. This is honest to God. Flip a coin. It's anybody's. They're only one game behind the Rangers. They're, a half game behind the Astros? That AL West is as close-knit as it gets. And by the way, the Rangers and the Mariners are facing each other another, 6 times before the end of the season? So we got 2 more games on this weekend series, and they got another 3 or 4 game series to end the year. That's a thing that's going to be decided possibly the last game of the season on who's going to the playoffs. And by the way, it could be all 3 of them. That's going to be, that AL West is really something else at the moment, those 3 teams at the top. So I think it's an overreaction to pick any of them at this point. And I mean any of them between the Rangers, Astros, and Mariners. Any 3 of them can go to the playoffs. One of them might not. I'm fascinated to see if one of them falls out.
Yeah, no, I'm in the exact same boat. I think you can. I was going to say flip a coin, but honestly, you got 3 teams. A coin wouldn't work at this point, because you're talking about 3 teams that are separated by a grand total of a single game. They all have games left against each other to finish up this season. I very much suspect that when we sit down next Saturday on the 30th of September, which is the second to last day of the season, we still will not know which of these 3 is winning the division, which of these 3 is going to the wild card, which one is going to be left out, if any of them are going to be left out. All 3 teams could have their entire postseason positioning finalized on the last day of the year on the 1st of October. So no, I don't think it's an overreaction. I think it makes sense to say that all 3 of these teams are very much locked in. Now, as far as which one's playing the best baseball, I mean, that's the Rangers, but that's the Rangers today. And really, it's not that far ahead, right? They're 6-4 in the last 10. The Astros are 3-7 in their last 10. And that's a little surprising, because you'd think the Stros were the ones that would be the best in the pressure cooker as we come down the stretch. But let's also say, it's 1 game of difference. The pressure cooker, to me, Decker, probably turns on Tuesday, Wednesday of this week in this division. I mean, it's already on, but it really cranks up Tuesday, Wednesday in this division. And I expect that the Astros bounce back. If there's one team I would say I'm concerned about, it's Seattle, because they haven't been here before. But at the same time, they've been in this race for 2 weeks. We've been keeping an eye on this, and they are not letting Texas or Houston run away from them. So maybe they're okay.